Welcome to the Equinox portal. It is so big. We are headed right in for the biggest transformation this planet has ever seen in hundreds of thousands, let's say millions of years. So of course it's never one day, but you probably are already feeling that transformation. This is life-changing, moving into brand new paradigms of reality. So of course only if you're watching my channel, because most people are going to be moving more into the chaos. The world is going to be amping up that acceleration of the collapse and destruction of everything false, artificial. All of these things in society, the entire makeup of everything in our world has to come, not crashing down, let's say, but has to be reworked from the foundation upwards. So also in our own life. Okay, I've been offline. I don't know if you even noticed, but I've been offline for many family reasons, but also because just the amount of shadow, of material that we've been healing. So this is all the reversals in our DNA template, in our energy fields. So essentially when you have a shadow aspect or a reversal, it's something that's constantly draining you, that's always bringing you back to an old habit, an old routine, where like you want to push forward in something, and it's kind of like that comfort zone that whether or not you want to be there, you get sucked back into that old pattern. Most of our consciousness, especially at the beginning, is shadow, is in reverse. So it acts against the, let's say, divine intention of why you're here. It acts against your soul mission. It acts against really that, I wouldn't say common sense, because your, let's say your inner guidance. So it will sabotage you. It will keep you in relationships that aren't working, or jobs. It will keep you in that habit or addiction pattern, etc. Right? So these are all parts of us that we're carrying along like karmic baggage, that right now we have healed and purged so much of this. This is literal density that holds us like an anchor to old patterns. We have to break that pattern in the energetic form to then see the hologram manifested, right? We create our own reality. I know it's easy to blame other people and to see, well, the entire world has gone to, you know, but that's for a whole other video, what's happening in the world, right? Because we focus on changing the energy, changing ourselves, evolving, healing, like I said, healing that shadow back into integrating, so then you have that power, that information, that consciousness. This is a part of you. The shadow isn't something, even though it can seem like some dark, dark energy, some darkness, something that is just always draining you. Yes, you can get actual entities attached onto the shadow, but the shadow is actually a piece of you that has left your consciousness flow because of trauma, or because of, like I said, all the things I talk about on my channel, right? Past lives that are all happening right now simultaneously. So this is why we are affected energetically, and they affect our reality out there that we are projecting. Childhood trauma and just childhood, let's say, conditioning, right? Those programs we take on from society, those artificial ways of being, where you feel like you have to be this way. This is your, let's say, identity. But that's an artificial identity, right? And we have, like I said, we all start out with infinite millions of these aspects. And as we go through our journey, we heal these parts of us that have been in separation for eons, unwind that wormhole, literally separating that part of us into the shadow, into reversal. When we bring it back into alignment where it should be, that piece of us was actually a strength, your divine template. It's a piece of you, a soul aspect of you that you lost eons ago. Right? So it's not just childhood or past lives or through our ancestry. This could also be literal billion-year-old, let's say, trauma that's held within the cellular structure. We're clearing everything. We are literally healing every single artificial timeline, dissolving everything back into the highest timeline, which is that vertical pillar that is you when you go through the ascension journey, right? So that is your stream of consciousness as it comes from source into denser and denser states of matter, denser dimensions where we are now. But you have a piece of you in every single, let's say, dimension, or every single coordinate out there. As our energy gets stepped down through stargates, we leave pieces of us that don't fit in the body. The body can only hold so much light, and of course, because we've been healing so much, and I mean so much, density and shadow over the past few months, I've actually had to be offline because of just the amount of stuff that we had to clear from the energy fields. So my gatekeeping isn't something that I can just go, oh, I feel like doing some gatekeeping today. Let's bring some crystals and go meditate somewhere. I wish. So when you become a full-fledged gatekeeper after many years of embodying higher aspects of self, what happens is there's no longer, so the dimensions are no longer separate. There's no longer like a, let's say, like a gatekeeper or a twist in the energy to keep a dimension in a certain bandwidth, a frequency. Everything is unified and breathing, which means you are the gatekeeper in all the gates, all the stargates, all the different, let's say, full out dimensions, because, right, you're expanding and now you're huge. That's what integrating an embodiment is. That's what ascension is. It's not just talking to some spirit guides or waiting for a solar flash. It is embodying all of your aspects that you have left in other time vectors as you step down through many levels into denser physical matter, carbon-based matter. But we're becoming beyond carbon. We're moving into silica, crystalline matter form. And then plasma, which is even more ridiculous. And then even beyond, so plasma is liquid light. We go beyond light and we move into pure sound, which is pre-light. So liquid light, plasma body, is pre-matter. Now, the sound radiation, the pure grid, and it's hard to even describe. I talk about lots in my course if you guys are interested in more, but it is that level of embodiment where you are so tuned in microscopically, supersonically, that you become pure grids, shape-shifting DMT, trippy grids. You are pre-light even. So when you see higher dimensions, it's more in the form of microscopic grid patterning that is constantly shape-shifting, like plasma. But beyond, it's more the point where it's not just sparkles kind of shape-shifting, like full gas mode, like where you are a gas ball. That's that plasma state. The sound radiation is, you still have that aspect of yourself as well in that, essentially in that dimensional coordinate. But you also move into pre-light, and this is where you become the energy that creates the light. So you'll see a lot less colors in your meditations and things like that. But you will exist in a permanent crystal world. It's hard to explain, but like 24/7 since about 2017, I think. When I look out, it's just, everything is just raining crystal. Everything is sparkling. Do you guys have that? Comment below if you guys are seeing that. That you're seeing the literal other frequencies that are beyond human, right? So that's essentially what ascension is. It's not waiting around for anything. It's doing our own inner work to heal the shadow, to realign with it. Okay, so the whole point of this video is to let you know that we are moving into one of the greatest blast-offs of your life. So this equinox portal, we have so much astrology lining up. So we have Pluto entering Aquarius the sign of Aquarius. So remember, the signs of the zodiac don't match up to the actual where the actual stars are. That's for another video, but know that it is kind of skewed, but that archetype does also apply. It's almost like an artificial overlay that we will still feel that archetype. So Pluto moving into Aquarius is really the age of Aquarius beginning, like full out in the outside world, in the outside hologram. So I'll talk about that in another video. Make sure you guys subscribe right now, because I'll be talking about lots of stuff. Again, I have many videos coming up. I've been saying it forever. But yeah, I've had to be offline. I had some family things I've been dealing with. So being in that 3D, 4D state for quite a few weeks, it was difficult to pull out of that. So I want to talk also about how to get your frequency up when you do drop down. Because of course, right, we have to be there for our families. So I have a sick family member that's going to be passing away likely very soon. So I've been there for my family, and then it was just the amount of material, of stuff, of overload. We were in a pressure cooker, ascension wise, not just the last week or two or month. It's really been since summertime. I've been just feeling so much backlog that, it's like I said, being a gatekeeper. Oh, so I was talking about that. I kind of went off topic. Being a gatekeeper, you will feel these things within yourself. So when you have things unwinding, these reversals, they will feel like you were being strangled from within, like you were being pushed to certain areas in your body, and things are untwisting. It feels like cords going through there. It feels like, right, and these are all moving spirals, right? Nothing is just sitting there. And so managing your MERKABA when there's just so much going on out there, it's crazy right now. So again, let me know how you guys have been feeling in the comments, because like I said, I've been totally tuned out, offline for the past maybe 6 weeks to 2 months even now at this point. So yeah, it was a lot of family stuff, you know. When we go back with family too, we dive deep within that shadow. Even though we feel like we've healed, try to hang out with your family for a week. Right, that saying, I don't know who said that, I forget, but it is so true. Like, you go back to like the old. So again, I was not at all, you know, back to my old high school days, but it's interesting, like you just end up feeling like you are just kind of like gone backwards, right? Because essentially we have to really move into more artificial timelines and drop our frequency, make our field that's so expanded quite compacted to exist around normal people. And so again, my family is totally wide awake. My immediate family. But are they doing their shadow work, right? Are they, you know, really working on clearing their own density, on taking care of the body, on healing themselves? Not so much, you know. So that's the thing is, you know, we have to be there for our families. Well, I know maybe some of you don't want to be there for your family, but like, we need that time alone. We need to be, you know, we need to be able to recalibrate. I actually was not good at all being at home. It was rough. Now, it wasn't my old way, right, where I got upset about, you know, just things and like overwhelmed. It was more just the physical bombardment. Like I said, when you exist as pure spiral MERKABA fields, anything electrical, you know, all the towers going on, right, all the energy, you know, being around people that are on, right, heavy medications. And then, of course, all the grief, right? It was a lot of heaviness. It was just a lot of just pressure squeezing on my body. But it really started out with the plane ride. Oh my God. I have not been on a plane in 3 years. It was so dense. So it started right off the bat. Right, there's so many people that have those phones, right? The highest frequency phones. The towers are everywhere, and of course a lot of people are very toxic, right? It was just one of those, So I'm a lot less sensitive to like going to a grocery store than I used to be, but it was kind of like being stuck in one of those places where everything is just dense, you feel like you can't breathe, you're in pure hell, and you can't escape, right? Being on a plane, and you're 1 inch from people, like how small those planes are nowadays. But yeah, it was interesting. I did realize why I have been, interestingly, red flagged for over 10 years. Whenever I go through one of those scanners, the thing just goes off, right? And I used to think it was just because, of course, right? I'm known. I'm sure they want me to go through as many radiation places as I can, right? But oh, by the way, do not go through those spinning things. I don't know what they're called, but do not. Please protect your DNA, right? So of course, every time I go through one of those things for over 10 years, all the things going off, I realize, because I finally asked actually someone that I knew from my hometown, why am I randomly selected every single time? And he said it's so essentially it's detecting radiation. So I must be radioactive now. I actually never really even realized that, but I'm like, okay, well, my MERKABA is spinning at like a million revolutions a second. No wonder I'm setting this machine off, right? So anyways, it was kind of funny because I finally realized why I have been always setting the machine off. And of course, they want me to go through one of those circle machines and get, radiated more. And then they want to swab you all over the place and pat you down. So it's just one of those things, right? Going back in that 3D world, not my favorite thing to do. I will not be going on a plane anytime soon. I had to take 4 of them. That is what really set me off as far as it just sucked the life force out of me within minutes, seconds, hours, right? Because I'd be on a plane for about, 2-3 hours. So it was like one of those things where I'm gonna wait till I can teleport, hopefully very soon. No kidding. We will be teleporting in this lifetime again if you do your work, right? So this is a time where you've been doing a lot of purging. So again, if you're watching my videos, right? Because there's a lot going on out there that people will be distracted with. The chaos out there in the world is about to get absolutely crazy. We have lots of astrology as well going down right now. So we have the March equinox, which is really, we can say that the Earth is finally aligning vertically with the sun and sparking that new energy. Science will say, oh, well, we have cracks in our magnetic field happen because we are in that alignment with the equal day and night. But it's actually because we're lining up vertically and getting that spark with the sun. So we're getting way more frequencies into the planet. Okay, so the last couple months, the solar flares have been unbelievable. We've had some of the strongest in decades. We've had so many X-class solar flares. Just the other day, we had the fastest solar flare in literally decades. It was something like 3,000 kilometers a second. You know how fast that is? Okay, you drive at like 100 kilometers an hour. This is 3,000 kilometers a second. It's insane, right? So we are being bombarded. There's no protection. By the way, that magnetic field they're talking about is false. It's fake, right? It's actually held up. That actually prevents us from receiving our full amount of frequency. Remember, this is your consciousness. This is light, information, source energy, right? Free energy. They want us stuck in this, loop, blocking our potential, blocking our evolution, right? Which is why we have this false magnetic field. Again, that's for other videos, but right now during the equinox, we are receiving that bombardment of light. So it can actually reach deeper than ever than other times of the year. So only the 2 equinoxes does the strongest amount of light come into the planet. This is also why lots of sacred sites are actually built for the equinox, right? They line up perfectly with the sun setting and things like that. It's because it's such a powerful time of activation, of your DNA activating. So it's such strong energies that we're receiving. So again, remember, we're not just getting bombarded with energy from the sun randomly. right? It's not just the great central sun or some other galactic that's beaming energy into the sun and we're getting those ascension codes. We have removed all of this false magnetic field. We have healed a lot of the shadow that literally blocks, or so let's say like this, that blocks us from receiving our consciousness, our light, right? Because our consciousness, our soul body, our light body moves through all the stargates, including the sun, which is our 4th dimensional stargate. So that's how we're stepped down. We don't just get random light blasting through empty space, right? It's all perfect in mathematical perfection. So we are receiving so much light because, so this is why we're having so many solar flares. It's because of the fact that we've healed so much, we can receive more, we can hold more in the body. There's more on the planet, which means things are about to get chaotic out there in the world. And also within yourself, remember? So it's really about you tuning into your 0 point, where you're calm, right? That eye of the storm. That is the most important thing, because the chaos is about to loom out there. And the chaos could be also projected within yourself, right? If you're not careful. So there will be a lot of chaos. So of course we've been feeling this for months. It's been overload, pressure cooker for so many months as we're moving through this eye of the needle, the equinox. And then we have other things like Saturn changing signs. Hasn't done that for over 2 years. So remember what's gone on for about 2 to 3 years now. Just massive upheaval in the world and in our life. And finally feeling like we can move on from these things that have been tying us to the old for so long, right? Our whole life. So use this time to move forward. Again, when you have energy, take that, keep healing, right? We're receiving so much light. But when you have those goal moments, when you feel excited about something, move forward, do it, right? Take 1 hour a day and start putting that towards your passions. These projects that you've been thinking about forever, right? Or this book you want to write, this move you want to make. Whatever it is in your life, now is the time to step into your highest potential, your highest timeline. Because really, all the other false timelines where you are less than, where you're not your biggest expression, are going to be harder to maintain. They will collapse, right? Remember, the actual energy holding up, right, that's actually creating the outside is breaking apart. So all the artificial timelines that are being manifested from that artificial frequency that's in reverse can no longer be held up. The only thing it's held up in is people are attaching into them, right? They still have their consciousness feeding into these low timelines, which is why things are about to get crazy out there, because the low timelines are literally gone and people are frantically looking at what to attach onto, right? Because they're destabilized. The world right now is destabilized, which means perfect time for you to move forward, right? If you wait around for some great solar flash to happen or something to happen, you are stalling and you are essentially going to be caught up in the craziness instead of leading the way, knowing where you're headed. Well, again, we don't have to know where we're headed. We have to know the first step. That's what I mean by that. That inner guidance will pull you in the direction. You have to have the courage and taking that action to move forward to it. So now's the time. Don't waste it. Do it for yourself. This is literally, the world's about to blow up, okay? Not in a bad way, in a good way, because everything's artificial out there. It's going to take time. It's not going to be like, oh, okay, you know, tomorrow all of a sudden things are blowing up. It's going to happen over months, but it's going to be so quick because so much is going to go on that you're going to be happy that you are taking steps forward where you're guided, because that's where the abundance is. That's where you're safe. That's where you are going to be successful and find love and love yourself and heal. And right, be there for others that are lost. So we don't watch the old blow up. We're too busy creating the new world, the new earth. Now for much more, my course Ascension Magic has hundreds of different topics on so many different things, over hundreds of different videos and diagrams and tips and techniques. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel because I have lots coming up about the shadow, about Atlantis, about what's about to go down in the world over the next, let's say, 18 months, because we are in it. So if you've been wondering when the shift is about to happen in the world, in the physical, we are in it. Take that step forward and don't stop. I love you guys. I'm Roxanne. This has been EARTH1111. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.